Hey everyone, it's time to have a look at yet another Spectrum arcade conversion. This time it's Galaxians, published by Atarisoft in early 1984. And I had no idea that there was an official Galaxian conversion for the Spectrum. I mean, there were plenty of clones, but yeah, I had no idea that this existed. And it's also interesting that it was published by Atarisoft. In late 83, early 84, they announced quite a few arcade conversions for the Spectrum and of course other systems as well. And some of these games were published like Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man and Pole Position, but a majority of the announced games for the Spectrum were not published. Games such as Dig Dug, Donkey Kong Jr., Moon Patrol and a couple of others including Robotron. And this is of course based on Namco's arcade game released in 1979. A game that I've never gotten to play on a real arcade machine, but I did play it a lot in the late 90s when I found MAME. And I really enjoy this one. And Galaxian, the arcade game, was designed by Kazunori Sawano, who previously worked on many of Namco's electromechanical games, including Shoot Away from 1977. And Sawano-san and his team was instructed by Namco president Masaya Nakamura to make the best possible post-Space Invaders game. And that was a pretty tall ask back in the late 70s. Space Invaders was hugely successful, but Sawano-san and his team pulled it off, and the game was a big success for Namco. And according to the wiki, this was Namco's first major arcade video game hit and became the second highest grossing arcade video game of 79 and 80 in Japan, and the second highest grossing one in 1980 in the US. And I'm pretty sure it was a huge success in the rest of the world as well. And of course this is the prequel to Galaga, which I think was an even bigger success for Namco. And I would say Galaxian still holds up today. It's just nice, clean and simple fun. And pretty challenging of course as well, but yeah, it's a really solid arcade game. Well worth checking out. And I should also mention the awesome looking cover artwork that wasn't really used very much on the Spectrum release of the game. It was just visible in the upper right corner. But this artwork was done by Hiro Kimura, who made lots and lots of other cover art for Atari. And before we dive in, I would just like to encourage you guys to consider supporting me on Patreon or Ko-fi, or maybe Super Thanks on YouTube, because right now, I don't know for how much longer I can keep up this uploading frequency on YouTube, because my work situation is looking really dire right now. So please, if you like my stuff, consider supporting me. And of course, also a huge thank you to my current patrons. But anyway, let's dive into Galaxians on the Specky. And a nice and simple loading screen. And interestingly, this game was actually coded by David Aubrey-Jones, who also made that Star Wars arcade clone game Death Star Interceptor that I had a look at maybe a couple of months ago. If you remember, it was a 16K sprite-based game that only had the license to use the Star Wars music and not really the film itself. Kind of weird, but worth checking out. Wasn't terrible if I remember correctly. And he actually also worked on the Spectrum version of Ghostbusters and I believe Hero? Here we are at the menu screen, and yeah, let's just pick Kempston and one player, and I'm gonna stick with level 1. It's quite enough, trust me, I think. But hey, I don't know yet, I haven't played it, so let's press S. Maybe it's super easy. And it certainly looks like Galaxian, I must say. Looks really rather nice, and even got a starry scrolling background. That's cool. Didn't really expect that. I don't think the Commodore 64 version had the stars, which is kind of weird. The 64 should be far more capable of having a scrolling star field in the background. We've got some sound effects. They're pretty low. I can't really hear them, but maybe I should increase the volume here. And I gotta say, it's way easier than the arcade. No one's attacking me. What is going on here? They're just... Maybe it's because of the... Yeah, here we go, finally. Because we do get more points for these if they are attacking me. Especially in formation here like this. Yeah, 200 points. And we even get points for the... we see the points we are awarded. That's a nice touch. Didn't expect to get that on the Specky version. And of course, just as in the arcade, we only have one shot. We can only have one shot active at a time, so we can't just blast the fire button here. We need to aim. That was the challenge with the arcade version as well. And I just really, really enjoy the arcade version, even though, as I said, I've never actually played the arcade version on an arcade machine. Yeah, this is really nice. Maybe I should increase difficulty a bit because it's a little bit too easy, maybe. But they've duplicated. No! The attack patterns and everything pretty well. And graphics are spot on. And the color clash isn't really noticeable, I would say. There's a bit of a delay whenever we go to the next stage. I'm not sure why. Yeah, this is a solid version of the arcade game, I must say. Oh, I think it may have crashed. It doesn't seem like you can skip the intro here, which is rather annoying. I mean, I can press S to start the game, but then I can't select a joystick. That is kind of weird. So I'm going to have to sit there and wait for all of this to finish. Let's increase the difficulty a bit, shall we? Try and be precise. Oh yeah, the difficulty is definitely noticeably worse. Don't touch me, you filthy Galaxian. Are these Galaxians? Or maybe I am the Galaxian. I don't really know. But yeah, this is definitely more challenging. And of course, this is a game where you're supposed to, get the high score and all that, so you should only really try and get the attacking ships when they are attacking in formation. But of course, it's a little bit tricky not getting annihilated. Please don't touch me. Yeah, this is really solid. I mean, yeah, again, it's not really a super complicated arcade game. The Spectrum should be able to handle this, but of course, that didn't stop many publishers from releasing some really subpar arcade conversions back in the day, official or otherwise. Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer that I never got to play this back in the day. I think I would have enjoyed it. Although it does kind of lack a little bit of that gameplay that the arcade has. But it's still very solid. And I do believe we get an extra ship at 5,000 points. Come on, die. I missed the commander, whatever that guy is in the middle there. That the other guys are escorting. It's an escort mission. Oh, damn it. Thankfully, the game remembers that I selected Kempston joystick, so I can just press S to restart. Good times. Feels a little bit strange playing on a wide playing field instead of a, portrait one. Ah. That went very well. I cleared the first stage pretty quickly. Oh no! Trigger-happy little bastards, aren't they? Let's see if we can get 5,000 points. Shouldn't be that hard, right? Especially if we get them while attacking me. Don't, please. Oh, no, and yeah, the attack patterns are pretty evil. Oh, yeah, they're pretty... Oh, really? Did that one really, really hit me? Let's just get that one and wait for the other dude to come down. Please, come on down. They are not as aggressive as in the arcade. Come on down, please. There we go. Oh, don't go that way. Oh, you prick. And then he should just keep doing his attack run. There we go, 150 points. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get 5,000 points. I wish I had a shield there. And I would love to go to the menu and increase the difficulty, but for some reason I can't do that. It's really rather annoying. Yes, finally. And this game is a 48K game, so it won't run on a 16K Spectrum. I kind of believed it would, but maybe, yeah. Maybe that would have been tricky. I don't know. Okay, it's going decently well, and this is, of course, much more challenging now. It's in a weird way, it's almost easier because, you know, you can get them a little bit easier when they attack you, and you do get more points. So, but yeah, it's still pretty challenging. Oh, come on, don't. You're trying to corner me, aren't you? You bunch of bastards. One red space bastard left. And it's really a bad idea to get too far out in the corners here because you get cornered. Makes sense, right? Oh, I missed. Oh, you're such an active little space bastard, aren't you? Ah, there we go. Didn't get any extra points for that? Oh, thought I would be getting a nice little display of my points there. Ah, 300 points, lovely. Yeah, it feels a bit easier on this difficulty, strangely enough, just because you kind of have them be more active. It's easier hitting them, of course, in one way, not in all ways. Yeah, it's still challenging. Definitely a solid conversion of Galaxian, I must say. I think I definitely would have enjoyed this back in the day, and it's even fun to play today, even though I'd rather, of course, play Galaxian in MAME or on a real arcade machine. But hey, let's have a look at some reviews, or more correctly, just one review, because I couldn't find any more than that. And your Sinclair was decently impressed with the game, and two of the reviewers gave it 4 out of 5, and the remaining one gave it 3 out of 5. And Roger wrote, very close to the original. The only thing missing is the pub that used to accompany it. Yeah, that's a bit of a sad omission, isn't it? A pub really helps. And Ross wrote, another very good Atarisoft offering that seems to have all the features of the original. The sound is good, the action fast, and it plays superbly. Well worth collecting, if only for the nostalgic value. And finally Dave wrote, okay, so this version's overpriced, but it's still one of the best shoot-em-ups around. If you want a trip down memory lane, then buy it, but don't expect too much of the old fella. And interestingly, this review was done in 1985, I think early 85, so it feels like it's a bit late, so not sure why there aren't more reviews of this game, maybe because there weren't that many magazines around, I'm not entirely sure. And with that, I'm just going to say thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and as always, hope to catch you next time. Cheers!